walking around it. No, start talking about it. Yeah. Welcome to the David Charles Reynolds Show. This is episode 2 of my podcast. If you're a creative woman, a creative, motherly, nurturing woman, a creative businesswoman, then this podcast episode is going to be relevant to you. Now, as you know, if you watched episode 1, I've been talking about the £100,000 a year creative woman. Now, the most important thing that I have noticed when it comes to a woman being successful as a creative, from what I've observed, and from the hundreds and hundreds of difficult conversations I've had with creative women, is that to be creative and not to be masculine with it is a challenge. Because environments where you thrive in business tend to be very male dominated. So women start to compete with men and harden themselves and become exhausted because they are not being themselves. Now, if you're a woman listening to this, the most important thing for you to focus on isn't the business side of things. You do not have a business problem. I was taught that by a very wise man, a coach, a friend, someone who I trust with my life. And he taught me that, and I've since learned that this is true. It's true. You know, you don't have a business problem. There is no such thing as a business problem. As a creative individual, you come to realize that you have a creativity, an expression that is unique to you as a human being. There is no one who's seen what you've seen, no one who's been through what you've been through. There's no one on this planet with your unique story. That's your gift. That's your authenticity. And you are in a position to use that gift, to speak as the uncopyable version of yourself, to show up and use your voice. It takes confidence. It's not a business problem. It's usually a self-confidence puzzle. You can go from problem to puzzle because puzzles are more solvable. Self-confidence is usually the constraint, or it's your self-esteem, your estimation of self, who you're going to be when things don't go your way. Are you just going to throw your values out of the window and just kind of fold and say, yeah, all right, no, it didn't work? At the first sign of something showing up for you that doesn't really feel like it's comfortable, that's where growth begins. That's where growth starts. So is it your estimation of self? Do you know who you're going to be? Are you being who you said you would be? And then there's your self-worthiness. You know, do you feel like you have value? Are you showing up from your unique set of values, your real values? You know, are your boundaries in place? Do you know who it is you are? Do you know what type of good masculine man you're actually trying to attract? You know, it's the confidence in your femininity that he wants. Trust me, I've had hundreds and hundreds of difficult conversations with good men. So if you're a woman looking for that good man within your man, because trust me, he's there. You just have to attract that version of him to show up. And if you're an over-functioning woman, That's roommate energy to a strong man. Like he's not gonna. It's like you're right, buddy. Oh, buddy, oh, pal. Like he's not really gonna have that polarity feeling around you. If you can honor the polarity of being feminine, then he's gonna show up masculine. There's no other way. Energy does what energy does, and to create that whole, right, the unity, that oneness, you need to understand energy. And when you understand energy, you walk into a room, you feel it, they feel it. Wow. You cannot mistake someone who has done the work on themselves. Women, it's your confidence. You do not have to go manly and show up as a man to, succeed in business and to create a high ticket luxury business. Whether you paint on a canvas, or you do something like you bake cakes, or you're a hairdresser, it's not always. And of course there are other occupations, right? But as a creative, I believe everyone's creative, and when you understand the gift of your story, when you understand that your story is where the value is, and your ability to tell your story, tell your personal story, is how you connect with the audience who are waiting. They are waiting for you to start showing up and showing how you can help them. It's not a business problem. You don't have a business problem. Can't find clients, can't find customers. It's not a business problem. When you truly find the clarity that it takes to get you to shift into the next level, like you literally shift gears the moment you gain clarity. And what I teach is that it takes 7 days to gain clarity across all areas of your life. You need to understand who you are in your beliefs, right? You need to understand what your true values are. You see, the thing with beliefs, right, is people tend to want to believe something. Like you want to believe things are possible for you, like change is possible for you, or you want to believe that you can be your best version of self. You want to believe that you can be the most attractive version of self that you've ever been in your entire life. You want to believe those things, but it may seem out of reach. Now, to believe that sort of thing, like they say, seeing is believing. You need to gain clarity to a level that is the best type of clarity you've ever had in your entire life. That's how you start to believe it. Everything has to have more depth to it when you want to go deeper as a human being, when you want to become more within yourself, like you can confide in your own self-confidence, your own self-worthiness, your philosophy starts to shine through. You start to radiate. You're using the gym more. You're glowing because you feel confident in the gym. Again, it's that word. It's confidence. And what is confidence? Confidence is just what? Evidence, right? Confidence is built on an evidentiary basis. So to build confidence, it's a skill. I say confidence is self-confidence is an inner game you play. It's a skill you build up to reach an awareness level far greater than just yourself. That means you stop making it just about you and just about the fact that you didn't do your hair and you don't feel like you look good on camera, and it's maybe the clothes you're wearing ain't fitting right. Something seems slightly off. Your environment, you're not looking after it. Something isn't. Like that type of thing. Like when you get out of your own way and you no longer use those excuses, you can make, from what I've observed, you can make £100,000 a year working no more than 10 hours a week. It is possible, but you do have to start solving rich people problems. Now, I have a system for this, and I've learnt the behaviors of, I won't say I've learnt the behaviors of rich people, but what I've done is I've learnt what it is that they buy into or buy out of. Okay, so they're not buying into your solution that you provide as a creative business owner. They're buying out of a problem that they have. Now, when you start looking at the problem that they have as a puzzle, it becomes something that you can solve. All right. Me painting Ronaldo, R9, in my opinion, the best football player, the best striker to ever play football. When I stopped looking at it as a creative block, right? Because if I look at it as a creative block, it's going to be a creative block. I'll keep pushing that into my reality, right? But then I stopped looking at it as a creative block, and I started to look at it as a puzzle. How do I get myself to hold the paintbrush again? Okay, I'm holding the paintbrush. I didn't paint that first day. I'm just holding the paintbrush. Do I feel like an artist? What I learned was that when I gained enough clarity, then I started to get pulled towards I haven't finished, but I get pulled towards the finish, the purpose of why I'm, painting my story, right? Showing you my icon. That's my goal, right? That's the guy that I wanted to be like when I was playing football, when I was growing up as a kid. So understanding yourself and knowing that instead of pushing and using all that willpower, you can get pulled towards your goals. And if you want to have a relationship at the end of your success and not just, follow the feminist movement, become a millionaire, and then know that the dating pool has shrank a little bit. I mean, hey, I'm not saying don't go and do that, but I've spoken to the men, and you're pushing his purpose out of the way if you're not letting him lead in that sense. Women will say things like, yeah, I want 50-50. And then they start to mock the 50-50 relationship. They start to resent it because they want to be led. But they want a good masculine man to lead them in such a way where they don't have to have a difficult conversation. They want him to read her mind. He's not a mind reader. He's only going to know you by how you show up. Women tend not to think logically. What do I mean by that? Sorry, let me say that let me say that again because I said that wrong. Women tend not to behave from their logic. They can think logically, but they tend not to behave from their logic. They behave from their feelings. Women are very loyal to their feelings. So a great question is to ask, what do you need to be feeling in order to think the thoughts that get you to take the actions that bring about the results you want? Like, what do you need to be saying to yourself? You need to stop treating yourself like shh, right? S-H-I-T. You need to stop saying these self-deprecating things, about yourself. You need to, you catch yourself in the mirror as you walk by a shop window, and you're like, oh, you need to that sort of thing. You like those types of reactions. That's what's getting in your way. That's obviously the effect, but the cause is deeper within, and you need to understand yourself better. It's not just a physical thing. Do you know who you are and what you are? Once you truly understand the power of the feminine, wow, you become like medicine to a good masculine man. I'm telling you. These men, they're craving it, but they're not going to settle because they're waking up. They're evolving. And it's something needs to change. And change that is just transient isn't good enough. Change that just changes behavior when the situation calls for a change in behavior isn't good enough. Good men, good masculine men who can lead very easily and they don't have any problems attracting women. What they're looking for, the ones that really want to commit to one woman and they only want that one woman, they don't want anyone else. Those men want your feminine certainty, your loyalty, your devotion to the relationship and the purpose and the showing up together sometimes or doing your thing individually, but it's having that loyalty. He doesn't want to share you with any other man. Ladies, are you listening? He's not looking for a feminist. He can be friends with feminists. There's nothing, he doesn't have, listen, the good men that you want, they do not have a problem with women showing up however they want to show up. You have free will. You're an adult. You do what you want, right? But they don't want a relationship with you. They can't commit to that. You say men have commitment issues. No, they don't trust that you are in your feminine. They feel like, every day they have to wake up and compete with you. Or it's almost like I said, roommate energy. It's like you have a roommate, a buddy. The polarity is gone. That's what he's worried about. That's why he's not committing. That's why he's just not valuing you for more than a good time. So, ladies, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and your self-worthiness. If you sort those things out, your self-awareness will expand. And if your self-awareness expands, you'll truly know what's for you, and you'll attract what it is you want. You will attract what it is you want, but you have to become that woman to do that. All right. Obviously, I'm Coach David. I'm a relationship coach, and I help creative athletes become the most attractive version of themselves that they've ever been in their entire lives. By changing the language you use, like creative block, you can remove 10 plus years of creative blocks like I did. It 23 years to start painting again. And now I've been painting, I won't say prolifically, but I've been painting since I was 37. I'm now 39. So 2 years I started painting again. But that's just one creative outlet. Now I'm able to create, I'm able to create poetry. I am able to dance. I can even act. So I'm just letting you know, look, you're not just a business owner. You're not just a creative businesswoman. You're an entertainer as well. Creative men too. They can entertain as well. But right now, it's all about focusing on the experience, making sure your clients have a first-class experience when they're with you. I'm going to talk more on this, but for now, I just want you to know that you are enough, and you just need to focus on the person standing in front of the business. And the business problems will take care of themselves. Focus on the person standing in front of the business, not the business itself. All right? All right, cool. If you've enjoyed this podcast, then please do like, comment below, and let me know what was insightful for you in this video. What did you take from it? Also, you can type creative woman so that I know you're creative. And share this video if you think that it will help another creative woman out there understand that she doesn't have a business problem. It's her self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worthiness, and just showing up in her values and her beliefs. And things start to align for her. The universe starts to have her back. All right? Cool. Thank you for listening. It's been your boy David. It's your man David. Walking around it, nah. Start talking about it. Yeah. All right, cool.